Hey guys, Rocket Rob here, and welcome back to another top 5 of a type video. Today we're going to be looking at normal type Pokemon, which are not a type that is normally considered OP, but have some good figures in them. In our number 5 spot, as you can see, we have Eevee as number 5 in normal type typing. And it's an interesting Pokemon because it can evolve into 13 different things. You know, some of them are the same, but all the evolutions basically. So we've got a lot of the UX ones have come out recently. So you got Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Espeon, and I assume it's going to be Umbreon very soon as well. But it is a very good figure because it can't actually be lowered below 2 MP. Or sorry, to 2 MP. Yeah. So it can only be 3 MP, which means you can actually stick an air balloon onto this Pokemon and it'll still have 3 MP. And a lot of people do fall for that as a way that, you know, you can get a nice easy cheesy win. It's got that double, the wheel's not amazing. The double edge there is pretty good. That will take out you and your opponent, and that's a 2-star. Baby Doll Eyes, the blue attacks of Pokemon hit by that will become misses, so that can be good against certain figures. Takedown of 80, nothing too special. Last Resort, let's go back. Last Resort, they're hitting for 130, but it's pretty small. So the wheel isn't great, but that ability is. So being able to not be put down to 2 MP means that with an air balloon, this can be a lethal type Pokemon. And it can also, I believe, get, yeah, because of that, it can't be 2 MP at the start of the battle. So if you go first, you can still move this 3 MP, which is pretty cool. So that's number 5, Eevee. Next up, we have, in 4th place, we've got Drampa. Drampa is number 4. And Drampa is it's a strong figure. It hits for 150 and 160. Back when this came out, those numbers were unheard of. This was insane. And this also can do plus 50 if it's against another dragon as well. That Dragon Pulse can be hitting for 200. Absolutely crazy. It is a 1 MP figure, but with the Dragon Sphere, you can be moving up 2 spaces and move through Pokemon as well. So that can be really, really cool. And if it is confused, which it will confuse itself if it hits that Outrage, it will turn into a figure with 3 MP. Which, you know, basically it turns itself into a runner. So it is very... it has a lot of variety. It can be very adaptable. The pusher side is great too. That'll send anything to the bench and gives it weight. So it's a great figure. I really like Drampa. In a Dragon deck, it can be really handy. Versing a Dragon deck, it's like the best thing you can have. So that's number 4. Who we got next? We've got Kangaskhan is next. Kangaskhan is the number 3. And this one was like, it came out quite a while, well not like a while ago, but you know, during that stage where we got no new figures except for one, and it was the Kangaskhan. It has a strong wheel, 150, which is like taking up a huge chunk of that wheel. It's got a 100 Sucker Punch gold attack and a big double-edged purple with a small miss of 4 at level 5. If this Pokemon is affected by a special condition though, it can do double damage, so it can hit over 300. Insane. Absolutely nuts. And it can't be knocked out by a ghost type Pokemon unless it's got a status condition. So for me, Kangaskhan is an absolutely amazing figure. If you're versing a ghost deck, mate, like this thing will help you so much. It's really, really good. But yeah, that brings us to our number 2 normal type figure, and that is Mega Kangaskhan. Mega Kangaskhan is our number 2 figure. It's a beast. Look at this. It hits for 200, which is insane. It's going to pretty much beat everything. The condition though is, if it is affected by a special condition, it is going to be halved. So you've got to be careful of that. It's got no miss at level 5. It's got a 120 Sucker Punch. And you know, it's going to be buffing. That's going to be doing an extra 20 damage. So that's going to be hitting for 220 or 140. Huge, absolutely nuts. Yeah, so basically it has a similar ability. It can't be knocked out in battle from ghosts. And any effects of the battle opponent that prevent it from being knocked out in battle are negated, which is really interesting. So it can knock out those figures that you can't knock out in battle generally. So for instance, like a Mega, I think Mega Mewtwo is one of those. There's a few others as well, which is really, really cool. And the battle opponent loses any markers with effects that prevent it from being knocked out in battle. So there you go. There you go. They can knock out everything. Absolutely awesome. And hits really hard. It would be the number one if it wasn't for this figure over here. Let me see if I can find you. One is Regigigas. This thing is an absolute beast, okay? Check this out. It starts with 0 MP, yes, but for every Regi on the field, it gets another 3. Sorry, an extra 1 MP. So if you've got the Regice, the Regirock, the Registeel, this thing's got 3 MP and it hits for 180, plus this hammer. If it knocks its opponent out, it'll move onto the space that it was on. So attacking the goal with Regigigas, it's an absolute nightmare. Now, if you use Mega Alakazam's ability on this, you can actually turn that entire wheel gold. And that would be insane. I really want to try that. It's something that has been pointed out to me by Vixen quite recently, and I really want to give that a go. So I think I'm going to do that in a future video, pairing up Alakazam and Regigigas. It's going to be insane. This Pokemon also can't be moved by things, so like Moongeist Beam, Cyclone Kick, they don't work. They can't move Regigigas off the field. It can be a hindrance at times because you can't actually max revive this figure and you can't long throw it, but it can be really helpful in certain situations if used correctly. That Multi-Blast can hit for 150, and if you're using this in a Regi deck, it can knock out all of the Pokemon that have lock-on markers on them. And Revenge can be hitting for it's got a 100 there, but it's hitting for 140 if you've got 2 figures in your PC, which you probably will most of the time. So really, really strong figure. I really love it. It's my favorite. So that's pretty much it for normal type, except I do have to mention the real number one, Bidoof. Bidoof is the best OP figure in the entire game, as you know, we all know. This wheel here, if you get that to level 5, it has no miss. Absolutely insane. Absolutely crazy. This figure is just unbeatable. I've seen it take down all sorts of other figures, like you can't even compare. So realistically, we can scrap the rest of the list. It's Bidoof, 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 Bidoof. You should only use Bidoof. That's the only figure that is worth mentioning, guys. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of Top 5 of a Type. Don't forget to leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and tell me what you think. Tell me if you agree with this list. Who do you think should be in it? Where do you think they should be? I'd love to hear from you guys. But for now, this is Rocket Rob blasting off again.